So boys and girls, it's Wednesday the 17th of July, I'm your host Thomas Adams and this is the Game Zone News Recap. Our top story of the day involves a single player game that is very close to my heart and that I love dearly. The ever popular and successful Metro series has just released a brand new DLC for Metro Last Light that includes 3 original single player missions from which you play as a different specialist, aka faction, within each one. Now of course the highlight for this particular trailer was seeing the player play as one of the Nazis who attempted to spoiler the spoiler. Over in the crazy world of Saints Row 4, we've just had the news and I've just watched the trailer of the good old Johnny Gat, who is dead but now is alive, so he's no longer dead quite, I'm not quite sure, but whatever the case, he seems to be naked. So just like all of the previous trailers, this trailer is no different and is just extremely you just gotta watch it for yourself basically. And I am looking forward to this game because this is basically Grand Theft Auto but just on drugs basically. Up next we've got a slightly sad story. A while back Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine was first released on PC and it did bloody well, to be honest. It had great reviews, great player feedback, and I personally loved it. So it made sense for them to go ahead and share that love with all of the consoles, and they went ahead and ported it over to the Xbox Live Arcade, and sadly on release there were a few bugs. They had to take it back off the shop, couldn't play multiplayer and so forth and so forth. Now they have mentioned that it was very hard to fix these bugs because while they were submitting a patch, they were actually quite blind because they couldn't actually reproduce said problem in-house. So eventually everything was fixed, but it would appear that Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine, didn't quite sell as well as they thought it would, and that is pretty damn sad. Now the developers at Pocket Watch Games, they don't blame Microsoft for the poor and expensive patching process, but they do hint that it did not help in any way, shape or form. Overall, Monaco is a great game and sadly it did get a bit of bad luck, and especially for its console debut, from which has just a huge amount of players who can just really love that game, and it is really good. So I don't know really, it's a bit sad. Our last story today involves Microsoft explaining how awesome the Xbox One's Skynet type Kinect system is. So then, basically it works like this. Whenever you sit down to play a game, for example say a beat 'em up fighting type game, the Kinect camera will zoom in on your face and recognize exactly who you are and completely change all the controls to exactly how you like them. So no matter where you play, you are playing with the controls and your favorite characters, and everything's set up how you would have it at your house, but you don't have to be at your house. Now they also go on to explain that you can just hand the controller to your friend and he's got his controls too. To be honest, yeah, Microsoft, how often do you think gamers move from their house, their living room, to another house to play the same game? For example, do you really think gamers move to 20 different sites across wherever they live to play the same game? That this piece of technology is actually even worth boasting about? Gamers aren't going to start moving around because at the end of the day, some games are very antisocial in the sense that you just sit down and you relax, and while it's nice to pass the controller to your friend, most games these days don't seem to support split screen, which has kind of forced most people to just play online. And at the end of the day, while it is nice to see your friend, it's also nice to still be able to play with your friend via the internet. So this just, I don't know really. Let us know what you think in the comments if you think this is even something worth mentioning from Microsoft. Remember that you can check out the latest news on www.gamezone.com. I have been your host Thomas Adams and this has been the News Recap.